Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you... Whoops. I had it on a loop. Sorry.
I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who does that. I think every time you've asked me to host in your absence, I've done that.
Amy's working on getting her camera fixed. Anybody know an IT guy she can call?
Not any good ones.
No, not any good ones. I'm retired from IT. There's no more IT for me.
Once an IT guy, always an IT guy. It's like being the guy with the pickup truck. People are always going to ask you if you can help them move shit.
I no habla IT anymore.
No hablo IT. no hablo IT.
Speaking of that, I just got back from Mexico City. That was cool as shit. That was a great vacation. Really, really neat spot for anybody who's never been before. I wasn't sure what to expect because you hear all kinds of crazy stories about it, but it was a really neat place. Awesome food, awesome people, and museums were cool. It was really cool as shit. I ate a ton of tacos and a lot of food, and now I'm like kind of like fuck this prep stuff, and I don't know if I want to do another show.
I'm impressed you avoided Montezuma's Revenge.
No ice, no tap water, no salads. That was my rule when I go to Mexico. And if you do that, you're safe.
Smart.
There were a couple people down there. We were down there with a group that did get sick, but I did not. Mr. IBS didn't get sick. I don't know how I managed to not get sick. But then it's funny, like when I get in the swing of doing a diet, I'm fine. I'm 100% locked in. But then when I start eating real people food again, I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Oh, there's Amy. I see her legs. Add her to the stage. So she's getting the camera adjusted.
That her right now.
She's having technical.
I should embarrass her.
Oh, wait till she gets on before I start embarrassing her. Only fair.
She is struggling over here. I'm putting her on. There she is.
Like I give up.
Hey guys, Amy's eyes are up here. Come on.
Eyes up.
This is the third camera I've tried. This is the third camera I've used today.
It's fine. It's a good angle. It's fine.
Like, I don't like. It won't
got a
stay.
down.
Right?
Don't mind me. I'm just eating. I'm eating McDoubles on stream. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh, Colin. I will say this. I'm proud of myself. I've had no McDoubles yet since the show. I've been staying away from McDonald's because once I start eating McDonald's, I know prep's officially over. There's no coming back.
My cat likes McDonald's too.
I can see.
Helps me eat my McDoubles. She's a little gremlin.
I am really like starting to like I'm just like as the days drip by, I'm like, I don't think I want to do this other show.
Amy, you're looking great.
Yeah.
Looking very lean.
Yeah, chiseled look,
Yeah.
the face. You definitely got the prep face going.
Oh yeah, like it's crazy because like we podcast so like every other week, and to look back at the podcast from a couple weeks ago that I do for work, I mean it's like crazy how much the diet face has hit in like the last week.
How do you feel right now?
I feel good. I've had a little bit of a drop in strength, like gym strength in the last week, and it's been kind of messing with my head a little bit. And
I mean, that happens at the end. I'm still not back to pre-contest strength.
How do you feel as far as energy and sense of well-being?
Good. I have had, just in the last couple of days, I've been a little bit tired, but it's because my sleep has not been great. Like I was looking at my Aura tracker. It gave me the month review. So I was looking back at like July, and July was great. Like I was getting like close to 8 hours of sleep a night. And then in the last like week, it's dropped off to like, I'm maybe getting 6 hours a night. And I'm just not getting like deep sleep. So I feel like that's more the sleep issue I'm having than anything else. But I mean, mentally and like sensorium wise, I feel good, but I have noticed that I just need more sleep.
Well, with enough stimulants, anything's possible. You can feel great.
I know. And, I've been trying not to do stimulants. So I think that's also been hard. I mean, yesterday I was at the gym. I'm like, maybe or the day before. It's like maybe that's the answer. Like I need to just be having more stimulants, but I've made it this far without relying on a lot of stimulants. So I'm just trying to.
No, that's good.
I've made a conscious effort on recent preps, and I've been doing this with my clients this year, and it's been working out really well. Is I'll have them take a day or two off the fat burners, and sometimes just push the calories back up just to give them a break, and then they'll sleep, and then go back and push harder. I've been really doing that, kind of managing fatigue. Having some days where you press, but even honestly, at the end of prep, 6 hours is not bad.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, and it's not that I'm falling asleep really quickly. So like I'm tired, so I fall asleep. I'm waking up at like, I get up at 4 anyway, but I'm waking up at like 2:33 and just like not able to go back to sleep. I'm just like awake.
Yeah, that's the shit that happens to me when I'm on prep is I'll go to sleep fine. And then I wake up like at 3 a.m. and I'm like, all right, time to work.
Yep. Like I'm just awake.
A lot of men kind of start, especially 2 weeks before their shows, just start to feel like shit.
Yeah, I mean 2 weeks out is kind of when I went down, but I got sick, so I don't know how much of it was being sick,
right?
How much of it was actually the fatigue going to the show. I mean, because I was eating plenty of food. Justin kept me fed this year.
That's always that's what I've been struggling with too, though. I feel like I've been hungry, even though I've been eating so much. I mean, I'm eating more now than I was in some parts of my off season, but I'm still feeling hungry. And I feel like that's kind of also in my head a little bit, because like you said, you just, even if you think you feel good, you don't really feel all that great when you're this lean, but you don't realize it until you're not this lean anymore. Yeah. But I sneezed twice this week and I had a full on like freak out that I was going to get sick. I'm like, this cannot happen. I started I just taking zinc. I was taking wellness formula, but there's been so much smoke because there's a wildfire like really close to Denver. And at that, I know that was it, but I was so paranoid after what happened to Paul. I'm like, this cannot happen.
I battled through. I was seriously contemplating pulling out of the show because I just didn't think I looked as good as I did.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks. The 2 weeks before, I was just not feeling great, and I don't think I ever got back to 100%. But I don't know. Now I'm like on this next show. I just sent a check into Justin yesterday. I'm like, just give me your honest opinion, man. Should I do it or should I not? I did. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything, but I looked at the Masters guys that competed in the Tampa this week. I feel like I can hang with them.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell, I feel like I can hang with a couple of the open guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Depending on the show, I think that's very true too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, like I don't know. My problem is this month I got a lot of shit. It's not so much that I can't push through it. I'm pretty tough when it comes to that shit. It's just that you put your family on hold for 16 weeks. Mm-hmm. And my kids are like, we want to go to the amusement park. We want to go do this. Yeah. We want to go out to dinner. All these things that I said no, that we can't do during that. So like, I guess I could go to the amusement park on prep. We're going to do it. I just don't eat.
Yeah. Just bring your cooler. You save money.
Yeah.
Usually what I'll do is just fast for like half the day or something, do it like a half day.
I remember the first time you tried visiting an amusement park on your bodybuilder diet. And you were amazed. You were like, I couldn't find even like nothing fried in the whole park. Hey,
everything was fried. You can't find anything that's not fried in the whole park.
Yeah.
Lemonade. That's the only thing.
Not a piece of fresh fruit anywhere.
Yeah,
Nary
there's
an apple.
And they won't let you bring in your own food. You have to leave it in your fucking
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, you can't bring in your own food, can't bring in your own drugs. It's a fucking prison.
I go to these younger family members, like high school events, right? Like basketball games. And you start to look for like the snacks that all they have is sugar. It's just stuff with pure sugar, candy bars and sodas. And it's terrible. Like what kind of, I don't understand, what kind of example they're leading for all these kids. So all these kids coming off of basketball games, they want something to eat. They have to get a candy bar.
Candy bar or hot dogs. Yeah, my daughter did travel volleyball, and we go to these big ass volleyball tournaments last year, and they wouldn't let you bring in your food with you. I had bring my cooler in, and they're like, "No, you can't bring it in. You got to buy food here." And I was like, "I'm bringing my motherfucking cooler in. You can arm wrestle me for it if you don't like it." I just tell them I'm diabetic. I'm on a special diet, and I just keep walking.
Yeah.
They're like, "Sir, you can't do that." I'm fucking doing it.
Terrible example for the kids of what they should be eating. Like,
it just shocked me. Like, yeah, you're right. Like my daughter, they'd be at these volleyball tournaments the whole. You're there 10, 12 hours.
Yeah.
And they might play 5-6 games, and the only thing they've got there for them to eat is hot dogs, nachos, candy bars, and
it's
popcorn.
I'm like shocked. I can't even believe it, especially with what we know now about what all these foods do.
Well, you say what we know, but we are still the minority. This knowledge might as well be under lock and key for how few people even have a rudimentary sense of what's acceptable. He says as he eats his McDouble.
Coos is being a creep and said Amy's the
Was
most
they saying
beautiful
that
angel on the show.
Amy is most beautiful angel on the show. We love Amy. Yes.
I mean, it's not hard to be the most beautiful one on here. I thought I was personally, but
yeah, I know. I mean, like, I'm just glad Tony here can't read. It's all right, buddy. It's okay.
Aww.
Tony's the most beautiful angel on the show.
That's right.
Oh man. Yeah, it's Paul can say he's a professional bodybuilder. I know it's weird, man. I'm still getting used to it.
Fantastic. So cool.
It was hilarious. I put my pics up. I always feel let down when there's no haters.
Were there none?
There's no trolls. Oh, after the show, it was just overwhelmingly positive messages.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
You look fantastic. How could it not be?
And then I got my professional pics in video, and I put them up the other day, and all the trolls were back out. One guy was like, "Oh, nice filters you put on there," and I'm like, "Well, they're fucking done by the professional photographer. Of course, they're going to filter them." And I guess I tricked the judges with the filters, with the camera filters.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul using a filter to make him look like he's 30 pounds heavier than what he is. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I love them. I just give them kissy emojis, and if they are too bad, then I'll block them. But most of the time, I don't. But I don't know. In contest prep, I was just like, if anybody even pissed me off just a little bit, I was like, block.
It's the way to do it. That's what I do.
Yeah, there was that, and it was like, well, I think you need to bring your legs up a little bit. And I'm like, okay, cool, dude. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Enough for
that.
what? To get my pro card? Shut the fuck up.
I'm like, I think you probably need to go to the gym before you can start critiquing on people's legs.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. It's the mirror. You hold it up, and you force them to see the shit about themselves. And they're like, God damn it, I could be doing more. I'm not living up to my potential. And then it's like the darkness, and that's when the cockroaches come out. They come out in the darkness. You turn the lights off.
I was a little hesitant to put it up because I didn't want to be preachy, but I had that video I put up about how to kick ass at life. I thought it was a good video.
It was an awesome video.
And you need some hate, Paul, and the filter makes your left pinky finger look small. Yes, it does.
I know, Matt. This is like some fucking like Mysterio from Spider-Man shit. Like Paul's up there like manipulating reality.
I know, it's hilarious. I just laughed. I'm like, nice filters, bro. Make yourself look bigger than what you really are.
What?
I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, awesome. Man. I mean, if they look the same as everybody else's. Yeah, but the video I put about kicking ass at life, I had some angry people reach out to me about that one too.
Like, what were the complaints?
I'll get people DMing me like, like how does the world look from up there on your high horse, and shit like that.
How dare you accomplish a goal, Paul? Such a fucking
right, or
asshole.
try to help someone. Like, why would you
setting
do that?
a goal for yourself and then accomplishing it? What a fucking dick!
And then there was
Get a load of this guy.
There were some other people, I don't want to mention names, but posted on social media that pro cards now are way easier to get than they used to be.
Right, totally, man. You should get one.
Yeah, I'm like, cool, man. If they're easier, then why don't you have one? Go get yourself one. Oh, I'm done with that part of my life.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
the
self-improvement phase is over, and
that phase of my life's over.
Trolling people on the internet.
I don't need a pro card now. I've proven all I need to prove in bodybuilding.
Yes, that's why his name is up there in the annals of bodybuilding, right next to Jay Cutler and Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman.
I mean, yeah,
Fit Dad 64 on Instagram up there with the greats.
On the whole thing about getting pro cards being easier, yes, they are. They give out more of them now than they used to. But I think I saw a thing from the IFBB. I think there's 300 total pro cards annually given out in all the men's divisions. Period.
Let's do the math.
Do the math.
You want to do the math, Paul?
How many amateur bodybuilders are there? Millions. Millions. So yeah. I mean, I can't help that. I just go up there and compete, and whatever happens, happens, man. I don't even really fucking care. I know it sounds like a weird thing, but I mean, it's nice to have it, but
right. You would have been fine without it. I know what you mean.
But I did laugh at the salty dudes. Well, this is way easier to get a pro card now. Everybody gets a pro card. They're handing them out like
everybody gets. Yeah, you get buy one get one free. I think
that's why there was 300 bodybuilders at my show and 12 pro cards.
Yeah. Big goofball.
Yeah, that was.
I liked your kick ass through life video. That was a good one.
It was so good.
Yeah, I thought about putting up another YouTube channel where I'm talking about just like, I don't want to be like speaking platitudes. I really fucking hate platitudes. Like, go kick ass today. That type of bullshit. But like, actually, rise and grind, motherfuckers. I basically violate every rule. I don't get up until 9 a.m. I stay up till 2. I don't fucking sleep. I still get shit done. I think at the end of the day, it's just getting shit done. But I thought about putting up another YouTube channel where I go through like some practical things on how to get shit done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, when is your show, Amy?
Well, my first show is 2 weeks from today, and then I have a show a couple of weeks after that.
Oh, awesome. You look ready now.
Yeah, you definitely do.
My coach, he's like, we have 1 week to lose that last half pound of fat. I'm like, well, what can I do differently? And he's like, nothing. Okay.
I don't see a half pound of fat on you, but
I don't see that either.
It's on the back of my thighs.
I mean, that could be just water. I was surprised how much I tightened up going into my show just from dropping water. I thought I was fatter than what I was. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I've got this insane ability to lose weight and get fatter at the same time. I don't know how, because I actually weigh less than I did at my show, and I look soft as fuck right now. I've done this a few times in my life. I got to get back on track, but I was back in the gym this week, but part of it was I just didn't do shit when I was in Mexico, but eat. I didn't take any PEDs, nothing. I just left everything at home. I figured whatever.
Isn't that bad? Did you go to a pharmacy there and get anything?
I looked around, man. They have everything.
Yeah,
everywhere too.
Well, it's like this was when I was there. It was a while ago, or maybe it was the pharmacies I went to. But they only had like limited like some testosterone blends and like Anadrol and like.
Well, you can't go in and buy Tren or anything like that, but what I saw was like Test, Deca, Anadrol, Anavar.
Yeah.
And it was Test blends. It looked like mostly, but
Sorry.
There was stuff there you could get things done. I didn't see any Primo. I didn't see any Masteron.
Yeah, it's kind of still basic. Did you fill up any shampoo bottles and send them to yourself like the old days?
No, I did not.
We used to have to do, kids out there. That's how we used to have to do it.
That's 100% what my friends used to do.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, they'd take a trip down to Tijuana or shampoo bottles.
Mm-hmm.
That's sanitary, isn't it?
Oh man!
Oh, for sure.
My first source remember, this is back in the time when there was no UGLs. It didn't. There was only a few brands that everybody trusted. But my first UGL that I used, and this is back before they were accepted, my stuff came in a test tube. I think I said this on the interview I did with you. It came in a test tube, and with a cork on the top, and that's how it came to us. And we just uncorked it, pulled some out, injected it, and it was great. That's how we did it.
Yeah, I remember some of the crazy stuff. I remember this is terrible. I remember one of my buddies. His dad was a veterinarian, and he stole a bottle of Equipoise.
Oh, Equipoise, yeah.
Of the vet Equipoise. I think it was the Quality Vet was the Mexican brand, wasn't it?
Yes, Quality Vet was Mexican, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Equipoise he had. It was something. It came in like a giant oil drum. It was like 50,
yeah.
It was a 50, and I think it was dosed at like 50 milligrams or 100 milligrams. I don't remember what the veterinarian Equipoise was. What's up, Kurt?
What's up?
What's up, Kurt?
What's up, bro?
The dogs they used to have I think I said this on the last show, but they had 2.5 milligram Winstrol for dogs, and so we used to get like glass bottles of those.
2.5 milligrams. What the hell is that going to do?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Somebody was telling me just take the injectable Winstrol and shoot it in your mouth. It's like I guess you could take it orally, right?
Yeah, you can.
The BA will destroy the lining of your mouth.
The BA.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. It'll
I'm like, that sounds like a really dumb idea.
It would still be yeah.
Well, have any of you guys seen the new Deadpool movie yet?
Yeah, I saw it the night it came out.
Oh my God, I went this week with my kids. They were laughing their asses off the whole time.
There was a lot of cameos.
My son kept saying, "This is the dumbest movie I've ever seen," and I'm like, "Is that bad or good?" He's like, "No, in a good way." I don't even know how I got made. He was ripping Disney the whole time. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was funny.
I guess,
in DC.
I guess if you make enough money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I don't think the critics liked it too much.
No, that's right. It didn't. Yeah, the critics didn't get great reviews, but from the fans, it did. It was definitely entertaining. It had a ton of cameos, and it was I don't know, the story kind of was secondary.
Yeah, it was just
to all the cameos and kind of ridiculousness.
It was just a good time. I just
gave fans what they wanted.
Yeah,
it was entertaining. It was funny.
Yeah,
some good action in there too.
Yeah,
and made a bunch of money if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Funny how that works.
Never would have thought.
No agendas. It was. I laughed my ass off. I had a good time. I did that. I did that tonight. I got back from Mexico.
Yeah, I think one of the important ideas they introduced in that was the idea of anchor beings. I think that's going to be moving forward. That's going to be something on all
the with the quality. The first two Deadpool movies were romances. Vanessa eating mashed potatoes out of Wade's butt is canon.
Yeah, I met my wife right around the release of the first Deadpool movie. We went to see that movie on our third date, and it's become a tradition for us to see Deadpool movies because obviously they are so romantic. That's why.
Well, if she didn't walk out on you after a Deadpool movie, she's a keeper.
He's a keeper. Yeah.
That is a lady. You put a ring on her finger.
Don't I know it?
That is hilarious, man. What's going on with you, Kurt? What's new?
Nothing. Just coaching stuff. Lots of guys in shows.
Yeah, it's been that time. I actually don't have anybody competing this weekend. It's like the first one in a while. I'm like, what do I do with myself?
Enjoy a day off.
Yeah, I know. Saturdays are rough, and then people losing their goddamn minds on the end of prep too.
Yeah.
Everybody gets mental at the end of prep.
Batteries died in my food scale last night, and I actually thought for a moment, does this mean I'm just not going to eat my last meal? I'm like, you are an idiot.
You're just like in such a routine.
Yeah,
any change
like,
to the routine, you're like, I don't know what to do.
Right, like staring at it. I'm like, I've got to have AAA batteries somewhere else in my house, and I did find just one more. I took it out of my toothbrush. I'm like, well, there we go. I got enough battery to make it through to tomorrow.
I remember doing a show and I forgot to bring my food scale with me, and I was in a full-blown fucking panic that I didn't have my food scale with me, and I was out at like 1 a.m. trying to find some place that was open that had a food scale.
I ordered a backup one last night, and it's actually a rechargeable, so I will have batteries and have it fully charged.
And the God's honest truth, you probably could eyeball it the last day and a half and be fine. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make.
I ate in a restaurant the night before one of the last shows I ever did. It doesn't make a difference.
You're either ready or you're not.
Yeah. That's about this little stuff. The little stuff doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Not at the end. You're either fat or you're not fat.
Yeah, I know, like an extra 10 grams of carbs, plus or minus. That's another thing, too. Like, people don't realize the FDA, or is it the FDA that regulates food labels, or it's USDA? USDA. I was arguing with guys about this, like the whole accuracy versus, accuracy versus, I forget precision. The thing, but now precision versus accuracy in measurement. But like the food labels are allowed to be up to 20% off in either direction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You and I talked about the beef once, right? Like the percent fat on the beef. The butcher just eyeballs it.
Yeah, Colin used to work in the butcher shop.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You think we're back there with fucking lab coats and equipment where we're like burning beef and being like, wow, this is this much fat in it. Like, no.
What did you
fat
tell me,
man
Colin?
in a bloody white coat being like, that looks like 80-20.
Just throw it in the grinder, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I never thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, so like, there's only so accurate you can be. So like, the only thing you can do with precisely is how much you weigh it. Like, if you can prepare everything consistently, you measure it consistently. That is the way that you get the most accuracy.
If you look at food the way it's even produced, look at like a loaf of bread, right? It says 25 grams of carbs a slice. Look at each slice is different.
Yeah, they're all different sizes. They all weigh different.
They just slice it.
Yep. Yeah, I had rice cakes in this last batch of rice cakes that were, I'm like, these, I could just tell they felt lighter. And sure enough, they were lighter.
That's like the assassin who can tell when the gun is empty based on like the weight. She's handled some rice cakes in her day. Just handled a rice cake or two.
That's when you officially know you're starving, when you can tell the difference in a gram and rice cake by holding in your hand. I'm like, I'm getting fucking ripped off.
I'm getting
like, I'm going to put this on the scale. I might get another crumb of rice cake.
Colton couldn't make it. Bummer. Sorry, man. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
The crazy things that happen to you at the end of prep, though, like I remember being in tears over like my dogs. I cooked. This was one of my crazy prep stories. I eat flank steak usually the last day and a half going into the show. And I cooked, I don't know, it was like $70 worth of flank steak, and I set it out on the counter to cool.
Oh boy.
I go to the bathroom and I hear some crashing, and I come back out and I look and I'm like, all the flank steak is gone. All of it. It's all gone. And I'm like,
what was that?
it was like 5-6 pounds of flank steak.
It was probably like $40 to $60 worth, right?
Yeah. It was
Somewhere in that range.
It was quite a bit of flank steak, and then I see my big ass dog hiding under the table. I'm like, dude, how did you eat 4 pounds of flank steak in 35 seconds and just need to pee? And I just like laid down on the floor
His
and
mouth
cried
is
like
this big.
Did you actually cried, right?
I anger cried. I was
I've never
screaming and
in
I
my
was
life
crying at the same time.
seen this man shed a tear. Nah, he's like how they describe how like Conan's like Asian buddy in the first Conan movie describes him. He's like, he is Conan Sumerian. He does not cry, so I will cry for him. Like, he doesn't cry. But when he told me the story about his dog eating his flank steak on prep, he's like, I shed a tear.
You know the angry cry?
Yeah.
You motherfucker!
That was my flank steak.
My fucking flank steak!
Oh, man.
All of it gone.
That's the risk you run when you bring those beasts into your house.
Yeah.
I'm like, of all times,
Pomeranian's not going to eat your
Pomeranian. A mastiff. A mastiff.
A mastiff. That's a light snack.
I can leave chicken on the counter forever. He won't fucking touch it. If I cook steak, he sits there and there's just slobber rockets hanging from his mouth. He's just. I know better now. Like, I can't trust him around steak. He just can't. He's very, very disciplined. He listens very well, but there's just some things that are just too much.
It's just too deeply ingrained in his genome.
Flank steak makes him lose his mind.
It's probably what made his wolf ancestors first approach the fire in the first place, right?
Yelling like Kirk, steak. That's what the funny part was he hides under the table when he's done something bad. That's how I know he's done something bad. I'll come home if he doesn't greet me at the door.
Yeah.
And he's hiding under the table, I know something's fucked up. He either knocked the trash can over or he chewed up a shoe. And I came out of the bathroom and he was nowhere to be found. I saw him under the table and I'm like, God damn it. But I cried over flank steak.
Yeah. What?
There are definitely things at prep that get you. And having people eat your food on prep or your dog or anybody, that can be a devastating moment. I think there are pros and cons of being single on prep for sure. And that is one of them, is not having to worry that you come home and someone ate your meal prep. Like, I weighed that chicken.
Yeah, or they want a bite of it. Do I have a bite of that? No.
Oh, no. I'm going to smell all the food they're eating, though, but don't touch mine.
I'm probably outing John Jewett here, but I remember we were talking to him at the Arnold, and he talked about him and his wife being on prep at the same time, and I'm like, how was that? And he just goes, never again.
You need one sane person.
That's right. That's what
John's very soft-spoken.
Bodybuilding preps, you need one sane person in the household, and also hallucinogenic trips. You need one sane person.
I feel like
everybody can't be tripping.
I feel like I need to have clients just sign a power of attorney when they go on a prep. I'm like, dude, just fucking trust me. Don't second guess me. Like, I was second guessing things with Justin at the end, man. I'm just like, all right, I just got to get out of my head and just let him drive. If this goes sideways, then we'll regroup and figure it out later. But my God, trend and starvation are not a good combination for making sound decisions.
That's why when I check with my coach, like, I ask, like, anything else? Like, we good? And if he says yes, then I'm like, okay, like, I asked. Like, I asked if we're good. He says we're good. We're good.
Kurt, can I tell you something? You don't get angry at me?
Sure.
I think you have resting disappointed dad face. when you're just chilling on camera and you're not saying nothing, I look at you and I just feel like I've done something wrong.
No.
I'm like, I'm certainly not living up to expectations.
No.
That's for
I'm
sure.
hungry.
Well, Colin knows about my daughter calls it resting dick face. All the girls at the gym think I'm a serial killer.
It attracts like the loonies to Paul, like moth to flame in society. All these wackadoos are always trying to fight him just because, like, I don't know. I think it's because how he goes through life, the way he looks. You kind of look like you're inviting it, I guess. I am inviting it, but I look like a teddy bear, so it doesn't work.
They see him in person and they want to fight him?
Mm-hmm. It's why. Well, I mean, they're not right in the head, you know. Or they're both in cars to begin the interaction. Then he gets out of the car and they're like, "I've made a grave error."
I immediately regret my decision.
What are they going to climb in like a tree?
What's that?
You'd have to scale him like a tree.
Yeah, I get guys that start shit with me all the time. It's funny.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just the physics. The physics is a problem for me because, like, you can reach me before I can reach you. Your arms longer than my legs.
Yeah. Yeah, you better get me on the ground, and even then, I've got a few years of jujitsu under my belt in wrestling. Yeah, so it might not work out well. There was that psycho girl last year that went off on me at the gym when I was on prep.
I'm glad she's chilled out. I mean, she's keeping to herself. I mean to say, I don't think she's chilled out internally, but she stopped fucking with people at least.
Yeah, I was just zoned out. I didn't even know who the fuck she was.
Yeah,
and she came over and got up in my face.
That's the excuse I claim too.
Colin actually stares at girls.
What are you talking about?
I don't most of the time.
Those are some serious allegations there, buddy. I go to the gym to work out. I'm looking into the future, a brighter tomorrow. That's all I'm looking at the gym.
It was last fall. I was deep in prep, man. I was just completely brain dead at this point. I think I'd run like a no carb day or whatever. And I just had the blank stare on my face, and she like walks up to me. I thought she's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I thought, "Oh, it was solid. Somebody recognized me." I'm gonna have yeah, sure, you can talk to me. Do you have a fucking staring problem? I'm like, what?
She thought you were staring at her, and that's what she was mad about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got all up in my face.
Like ogling, I guess. Like, and he just like had this like vacant. He was like staring off into space.
I was kind of
like,
doing one of these numbers.
It was weird. It was weird. I totally thought it was like a fan coming up at first. So I wasn't even paying attention. That's know, and like I started noticing like the conversation, like the conversation didn't appear to be going like a normal fan interaction. I'm like, what's going on here?
It was like I just got rear-ended or something. I was like, is this girl serious?
You got rear-ended and she's angry at you for hitting her.
Yeah.
Like there is one person at my gym who gives me the hardcore creeps, and I just avoid that person as much as possible. Like I'm not going to confront them about it.
Yeah.
And that's one out of 100.
Creeps you out. So I can make sure not to do it.
This person is so.
I'm taking notes. How to be a better
cringy, just real cringy, and overtly takes my equipment when I'm using it, like to try and interact with me. I'm like, nope, have it, take it. Yep, take it.
It's a dork. It's me too.
He's a dork.
Starts using a machine, grabs the weight I just put down.
I can pretty much like guarantee that man has paid for a one of those like courses for what would they call them, like pickup artist courses.
Pickup artist courses.
I guarantee you he spent money on some shit like that. That's some like pickup artist shit. Like
that's a real thing.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of sad, lost individuals out there who think like they need something like that in order to talk to a woman effectively. It's real sad.
No, it doesn't work.
There's a sucker born every minute, and there's an asshole out there, ready to take their money.
I want to be the asshole that takes their money.
Right?
Yeah, you want to be the asshole who takes their money. You're doomed to be the nice guy who gives a solid service instead.
Yeah, no, I probably give away too much for free.
I'm sure you could, if you just like gave up those pesky morals and scruples. I'm sure you could make a lot more money off people.
I'm constantly helping people for free. They get no thanks for it.
Sorry, Ryan. What were you going to say, bud?
Yeah. Well, when I was in prison, I was in prison and I was off with testosterone. So when I first got out, and then I got a prescription for testosterone, I forgot what it was like the libido and everything. So when I first got back into the gym after being on testosterone, like, and all of a sudden all these females are around, and I hadn't seen females in a long time. I couldn't help it. Like, I would just stare, and you know, with the libido enhancement for testosterone, I forgot what it was like to have libido. I hadn't had one in a long time. So like my mouth would just drop open, and I would just like say, I wouldn't realize I was doing it. Kind of like you were saying, Big Paul. Like, I didn't realize I was doing it. I'm just like, oh my God, that's wonderful. And then like, and I would catch myself and like realize that I'm the creepy guy, like just staring and haggling women. And I couldn't help it. I didn't realize what I was doing.
I mean, like you used to be able to literally transform into a wolf, and your eyes pop out of your head, literally, your tongue roll out of your mouth, literally, and drool an ooga woman like that. Now you can't anymore because of woke. It's awful.
I don't think
Colin
staring is
still does it
inherently
anyway.
creepy.
It is. Now you got to work the angles. You look at the mirror that bounces off the air
Paul's doing geometry
from behind the machine, and that's how you do it, man. I like women are more subtle with it, though. You'll see they do the quick look. They do the quick glance. Although I'll say this, the women in Mexico were definitely not shy about their interactions.
You're getting all sorts of photo ops, huh?
I got more attention from more stares from women than I think I ever have. I actually had some girls come into the gym and want to pose with me.
Aww.
It was funny.
Awesome.
Here they just think I'm a serial killer.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of look like one. I don't know. The creepy bald guy. The big creepy bald guy. If they only knew, I'm harmless. All right, we want to take some questions. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, this one came in before Kurt hopped on, but I saved it just in case you did come on. JK wants to know any cause for concern running gear with Gilbert syndrome. Every liver marker is good, but bilirubin is always out of range.
What the hell is Gilbert syndrome?
I'm not familiar with Gilbert.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just taking a shot. Like, I mean,
I can look it up.
I certainly don't know what it is, but I thought you might.
It shouldn't affect anything, but I don't know what Gilbert syndrome is.
Not an indictment against your ability
This
in any
is
way, shape, or
not
form.
medical
Kurt.
advice. Let me.
Oh yeah. So just out of context, we do have one patient who has Gilbert syndrome that we are treating, and we are treating him. That's about what I say.
Cool, man.
Now I got to look it up. What is it?
It's you just process bilirubin slowly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're just a little yellow. Just
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
Don't take Anastrozole.
Injectable stuff. I wouldn't be taking orals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I should know that. I can tell you all about what a placenta looks like, though. Now,
Thank you.
What are you studying on placentas?
Yeah.
because it's part of the endocrine system, I guess.
So are
Fascinating.
you doing studies or just?
It's part of the fellowship.
Ah.
So play with one from a not live person.
It is kind of amazing to think that this like literally nourishes a human. Like this is how you grow a person. Like this thing does this.
Pretty fucking cool.
And it controls the hormones too to the baby.
Yep.
And
Does so much.
There's DNA in every woman's placenta that dates back to 200 million years ago from when mammals evolved from birds, they believe. And it's what changed
That's
from
wild.
egg to a live birth. And we
Pretty
still
cool.
like any woman that gives birth now still has that same DNA in there, which is so weird.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The human body is awesome.
Yeah. It's and to think about how it all came about, like through an evolutionary process that just took millions of years. Like it's just crazy how everything came together. Well, I mean, when you have that much time, but it's really
Yeah,
I think this was from some sort of virus that occurred and just mutated. Some
Yes.
bird mutated.
Occurred.
yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
All right, what do we got up next here?
See, DJW07. Any tips on how to sleep better? I'm spending about 10 hours in bed and only actually sleeping 3 to 5 a night. Tried melatonin up to 20 milligrams. Nothing. Feel like shit quite a lot most days due to this.
You know, the very first thing I would do is stop spending 10 hours in bed. I would reduce your time that you are allowed to sleep to 6 hours. And regardless of whether you sleep or not, like that's it. And then the more you start sleeping in that window, then you can start extending it. So rather than laying there for 10 hours torturing yourself, like I would just reduce that window, these are the 6 hours I'm going to be in bed, and that's it. And then once you're sleeping that full 6 hours, go to 7, get up to 8 maybe. I would start there and maybe cut back on the melatonin.
Yeah, that's too much melatonin for sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's like cancer dose.
It's a hearty dose.
Yeah.
The process I go through with people when they're having trouble sleep is like one progesterone acts on GABA receptors that can help sleep for some people. So first we try pregnenolone, and maybe through steroidogenesis it will convert to progesterone. That's the first thing that we try, and then actually try a small dose of progesterone. You can get creams over the counter. For men, just try a small dose, so like 10 milligrams a day.
A lot of times what I see when guys are where they're in bed a lot, but they're getting broken sleep, it's sleep apnea. Especially the bodybuilders.
That's just one thing we try, but yeah, sleep apnea.
I mean, just something else to consider. Just another thing to consider.
There's a myriad of things that could be.
I'll look at my sleep data. I have an app that runs off of my phone. If I don't use my CPAP, like I'll have like 3 to 4 hours of deep sleep and a 7-hour sleep. If I use my CPAP, it's like 5 or 6.
Of deep sleep?
Yeah, I think I don't remember. It says quality sleep. However, they rated on the.
I'm like, man, I get like up to 2 hours, and I was like, all I get of deep sleep. I'm actually.
Yeah, I don't remember how it rates it, but I'd have to look at the app again. But yeah, normally I don't know. I don't sleep a ton. Usually I'm like 6 or 7. It's kind of where I'm at, even normally.
If you use half a bottle of Cerestim before bed, you definitely sleep well.
Right. Cerestim is also good for that. Yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
A pretty serious question from Showco. Are the McDoubles a secret of the pros? Giving away secrets. I don't know. Magicians have a code. Do bodybuilders? Do we reveal the secrets?
I love me some McDoubles. They're my go-to in the office. Sometimes I have a hard time gaining weight or eating food. And I don't know what it is about McDonald's. Like
there's some magic in those McDoubles.
Everything. Like I eat spinach and I get diarrhea. I eat McDonald's and my stomach feels great.
I was just gonna ask, like that doesn't tear up your stomach?
Nope, McDonald's. It's like made for me. Don't ask me. I used to live off of McDoubles.
But didn't your coach recommend them?
Dante.
I thought Justin said like among the options on the McDonald's menu, the McDoubles is the least heinous or something.
Yeah.
Macro wise.
Yeah, macro wise. Yep.
The only thing I've ever had from McDonald's is the ice cream. I've never eaten the food there ever.
Oh my god,
it's amazing to me.
Yeah. Why didn't you grow up in a place with fast food? Like there were
on the fucking moon. I don't. Where did you grow up? In America?
A very small mountain town. It was in the United States. Yes.
I grew up in a very small mountain town, and we still had McDonald's.
There was a Taco Bell that was in the town that was like I don't know, like a 20-minute drive.
Oh, yeah. That was only for like special family dinners. So
it was, yeah. We would get Taco Bell occasionally. Yeah.
It was a red letter.
My mom loved the taco salad in that big fried taco bowl. Yeah. So we would occasionally get Taco Bell.
Mom knew how to live moss.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
Where did you grow up, Amy?
Breckenridge.
Is that Colorado also?
It is. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
I want to go to Colorado. I've never been.
Good living at 9,800 feet.
Yep.
9,800 feet. Oh my God. I was dying in Mexico at 7,400 feet. I had altitude sickness the first couple of days. It was bad.
Really?
Well, that's a big jump from sea level. I mean, you're basically at sea level.
Yeah. I think the altitude here at my house is like 300 feet.
Yeah. That's basically sea level.
Yeah. I was like, it was my oxygen levels. I sent it over to Kurt, I think, and you too, Amy. It was like
in the
At
80s.
night, it was in the 80s.
Yep, that'd get you held in the ER until you can get your O2 stats up to 90
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
on room air.
Back here, everything's been in the high 90s. Back to
Well, yeah,
normal.
you gotta get that bump because you got all that extra oxygen after being in Mexico for a few days. Those blood cells are all pumped.
It started to level out after like the third day I was there. It was back to in the like 96, something like that. But the first 2 days it was rough.
Yeah. I mean, growing up at nearly 10,000 feet, when we'd go on vacation to somewhere that was at sea level, you'd literally feel like you could not get exhausted. Like I would go for a run and just be able to it always felt like I was running slightly downhill. I'm like, how is this possible? Like I can't get winded.
That's wild. Blue collar bodybuilding. Hey everybody, just got back home. Nice to see you. How's it going? What's up, Dave? Dave is looking good on his prep. He's going to be ready early.
Yeah.
When is his first show?
It's
Like
10
October?
weeks from now or something. It's like
Around the Olympia.
Yeah, and he looks like he's about 4 weeks out now.
Wow.
He's ready way early. Might have to do an earlier show.
That's not a bad problem to have.
Nope. And we had way more food this year. I love working with people. If I can get people to stick with me through 2 preps, usually that second prep is way better, and then the third prep is even easier. It's just people got to have the patience and the consistency to stick with it. That's the thing that kind of drives me nuts. Is I know you run into it, Kurt. I get guys that'll be 6-8 weeks into things and they just get like, oh, I'm not seeing any progress. This is not working. Is there any way we can be more aggressive with things? And I'm like, man, it just takes time.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient. Oh, it's Jackie. Well, I guess you're second fiddle, Jackie.
The picture I posted on Instagram of that guy's back the other day in my stories.
Yeah.
He was the same thing. He was like, of all my competitors, I feel like he was taking the longest to get in shape. And it was a long prep. And when he sent me that picture right before that, he said he was going to text me 3 different times. He kept deleting it, that he was dropping out of his show. And then he saw the picture he sent me and he didn't want to drop out anymore. It just takes time.
Yeah, he was shredded.
The funniest ones, not funniest. I think Paul and I talk about this like over text message. Everyone has like this, whether it's just a genetic limit or a mental limit, physical limit, it's probably some combination of all three. As lean, like your body is just not comfortable after a certain point, right? Of getting lean. And you see it sometimes in these guys that are not in shape at all. Like they get to this point, they look like average and they're like, I'm dying. I'm fucking dying. I have to stop. I can't diet anymore. They're 20% body fat. You're like, I don't understand what is going on. Like,
I haven't been fat myself for a period of time. I don't know. I wasn't wouldn't say I was morbidly obese. I don't know. I was in the 20s. I'd say my body fat was in the 20s. I noticed that like now maintaining like 9-10% body fat feels like what maintaining 20 used to be like for me. It's like I think you have to go through these phases of resetting, and I'll do it with clients. I'll diet them for 12 to 16 weeks. Then I'll put the guys that are really obese, and then I'll push the food back up for a little while for like a month, and then I'll hit them through another phase. It seems like you have to run it in phases and to kind of let the body reset. I don't know if it's just mental or if it's the body needs some sort of like time to achieve homeostasis or what it is.
Like Kurt, what do you do in that situation? Because I see that. I see, and we've got their calories so low and they're just not losing any more weight. They're like you said, they're 20%. It's like, I don't know what to tell you to do. Don't eat anymore at all. Like
it depends. So the couple ones I've seen lately, the guy in prep, his calories were low. And I feel horrible when I got to pull some food that low. But I mean, look, Chris Bump said diet on 1,200 calories. I've dieted on 1,200 calories. Yeah. You can all do it. You ain't going to die. You're nowhere, especially on drugs, you're nowhere near from death. You're nowhere near death. This guy, the one in particular that texted me at 6:30 this morning on a Saturday while I was doing cardio, because this was very urgent. He he had one high day a week still with 600 grams of carbs. And his medium days were 350 and his low days were 220. And he was starving. And he's, if he were to compete now, he would compete at 165. So he's not a big dude.
That's
I mean, he's probably still, he's around 200 right now. So he's got a serious amount of weight still. I mean, he's not competing. He talked about competing in the future. I'm not bad mouthing anything. I think this is just a lesson for people listening to this. Like, you have to learn how to get uncomfortable, and you have to be able to stay there for a long period of time if you ever want to get on stage. And there's a reason why most people can't be bodybuilders. It's all part of that. Your hypothalamus recognizes how much fat and muscle you have on your body at all times. It's constantly changing things. And so it starts setting off alarms when your body fat gets below a point that your body doesn't want to be. A lot.
Thumbs up.
It's the closest we know is that your fat cells, when they get to about half full, I don't want to raise my hand again, it starts to set off alarms, right? Then you start to put water in there to hold the place. That's where you get the whoosh effect from. Somewhere around there is when your brain starts to freak out, though, is that it's going to starve.
Yeah.
But even when you're nowhere near weight, when you're starving.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 20% body fat, you could go 2 to 3 weeks probably with zero.
Yeah.
I've just found go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on that. So we're the opposite. So when you are stage lean and you can maintain it for an extended period of time, I always wonder kind of what's going on there, and that's kind of,
I was with calipers at 2% with calipers, not like real, for over a year. I held 2% with calipers when I was younger and natural. So, I mean, I wasn't heavy, but I held that condition for a long time. And I honestly, I didn't feel bad. I was just so tired. I remember every night when I would go to bed, I would hit the bed like a ton of bricks, and I would wake up until the morning. It was past
almost
the point
like when
of
you're fasting,
not sleeping because you're hungry. It was just like your body's done. So I mean, I didn't do blood work then. I'm sure my hormones were a mess at that point.
But you were able to maintain that for a year.
I have an incredible tolerance.
Did you slowly come out of it?
No, what I started doing was, I then held right above that for then another year or two, probably. What I started doing is I didn't have a single cheat meal for over a year at the same damn thing. And I probably was at 1,300 calories a day for over a year.
Wow.
I slowly started having cheat meals on Sunday. The first one I had, you get that crazy dopamine rush from food that I couldn't stop eating. It's like, I remember
what's that like?
I literally got sick. I went
From
to
eating
places and just kept eating and eating and eating and eating.
Weird.
Yeah. The body is, it's so fascinating. It really is something that I'm looking at, as my season, I'm seeing the end in sight now that, my next show is about 6 weeks away is my last show of the season, most likely. And kind of mentally preparing for coming out of it, because it is a challenge after you've been maintaining a level of leanness for an extended period of time. There's a lot that goes into it, the hormonal component, especially, for me as a woman, wanting to get my hormones back to normal. And I feel like you kind of have to start looking at the positive sides of coming out of the extreme leanness, because it's such a mental game. And I think your body does get used to it. So I feel like it almost kind of fights, as Paul's saying, your body almost fights to defend the lower weight. Even if your composition is starting to change, you might still lose weight, even though you're not as muscular. There's things that kind of happen, I feel like, as your body kind of is ooh, what are we doing here? And kind of monitoring that so you don't let it get out of control. I think that's the mistake that a lot of newer competitors make, is that they kind of just blow it out at the end of a season. But, there's part of it that I think your body it gets adapted for sure to either way, to the higher set point or to the lower set point. And you have this little sweet spot where you can kind of manipulate that a little to make it not such a harsh transition.
Yeah, Ryan, to answer your question, because I never actually answered it. So it depends on the person and what the situation is. If a bunch of my competitors are done or really close to being done early, so in that case, if they're really miserable, I'll just give them another high day, and it usually fixes it. 2 of the guys are ready way early, and so I just brought their food up. Because they just don't need to be dieting that extremely. I mean, the food's still lower. The guy that's non-competitor, I literally just doubled his carbs. I was like, fine, we'll grow now. And he's like, well, that's not what I want. Well, what are you asking for then? I don't like, that's the problem is I think people get very irrational when they're hungry.
Yeah.
Like this was like so urgent on a Saturday morning to ask me, like, I wouldn't bother any of you, or I wouldn't bother a coach on a Saturday morning unless it was a medical emergency or there was like something seriously wrong, right? Like your something is actually physically wrong where you need help. That 911 is not quite needed yet, but it's like, it's not like I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hungry too. That's why I have a resting bitch face. I'm hungry all the time.
Those are your words, not mine.
No, but it's so in that case, I literally just brought his food up. Okay, it's fine. We'll grow now, because sometimes you just can't make people happy. You just like, it just makes me realize that some people are not cut out to prep ever, right? So then we grow, and we see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it is mentally challenging for some people. I do like, I have had quite a bit of success. I saw one of my guys, Marty, comment on here, breaking it up. You know, like I just like, it's a huge, I'm sure you could probably just keep pushing through if you were severely obese, but I feel like, you know, we'll get 15, 20 pounds off and then take a little bit of a diet break for like a month and get another 15 or 20 pounds off, get a diet break off. And I find that if I push the food back up a little bit, their metabolism actually comes back up and we can diet on higher food. It's after a while, it's like there's only so low you can bring the damn food.
Yeah.
But that's been my approach is I'll diet them for 12 to 16 weeks, then take a diet break for like 4 weeks and then another 12 to 16 weeks. But I think people fail to recognize how, you know, like they get disappointed only losing 20 pounds in a 16-week diet. I'm like, you do the math on that, that's 70,000 calories that you've metabolized.
Or more. They estimate it might be 7,500 calories for a pound of fat now.
That's crazy.
It's so weird because like it's so clear when you do the math on it that it almost makes you question whether people are.
Well, that's so Colin, right? They do with a lot. If you look at a lot of like the metabolic studies, when they actually control the foods, like they actually have the group, like the food is regulated, so you know what they're doing. The weight loss always comes out to about half of what's predicted. So like if you use 3,500 calories and you predict they're going to lose 20, the groups will lose 20 pounds, they lose 10. And so they're starting to revisit that. They think the initial weight loss might be 3,500 calories per pound. And then because of either, you know, thyroid or just metabolic adoption, it just slows down that much and it takes that much more, right? Because if you could accurately track somehow what went in and what comes out, you notice it's probably more than 3,500 for a pound at a certain point.
Yeah,
because you've dieted hard for long periods of time. You know, it comes like at the end, it's like it just doesn't come off quickly. And then there's that point. I don't know if Paul and I talked about this. There's this weird point that at least men. I don't coach women very frequently, but I know with men, it seems like most guys have this point at the end when they get very lean. All of a sudden, their metabolism speeds up really quick.
Yeah, that happens to me.
Out of control. Like I thought it was just me or rare examples. One time I weighed in for a show exactly at my cutoff at 182, and by the night show I was 167. Like
Whoa!
I mean, there was glycogen and fluid. I just couldn't, and I was using no diuretics.
Wow!
It just goes out of control. Like I have a couple guys that their weight will drop 5 or 6 pounds a week, and you got to, you know, then you have to keep refeeding them to get that to slow down. But that happens at the end. It's like their weight loss is really slow, and then it just goes.
I mean, I was essentially on off-season calories going into my show the last few weeks. Yeah, that happens to me. I had that first show where my metabolism just went fucking crazy. Jessica was literally telling me to eat as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was still losing weight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I almost always have a little bit of a weight drop after a show. Always like that. I'll always wake up lighter, even if it never makes sense. You know, and I'll have a couple of days at least, or even a couple of weeks after a show where my weight is dropping.
Could be
even eating more.
Right, your cortisol might have dropped out, or maybe if you had a good meal or two after, it speeds things back up.
Yep.
Right. I know in guys when they go back, like if you pull, like a lot of times I'll pull injectables at least a week out. Like when you reintroduce those things, a lot of times things will speed back up again. I know Paul's weight like dropped after his show and kept going down.
I weighed in at my show at 249.8. That was 2:43 this morning.
Wow.
After being in Mexico.
Yeah, and the travel and everything.
Yeah.
But I think being sick, I really feel like skewed things, at least numbers wise, at the end of your prep, like how things looked on paper.
I was inflamed
Yep.
too, you know. I definitely had some water retention, but I do have a weird metabolism. Sometimes it'll just, especially when I throw PEDs at it, it'll just go nuts. That's why I eat McDoubles. I mean, you see Roman's got that situation.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
The video he posted of the Smith RDLs, like with his glute striations just popping through his leggings. Was
you
nuts.
can see his glute striations through his leg. That's when you know you're lean.
Yeah,
that is insane.
When you can see your glute striations through your leggings, you're allowed to get McDoubles and McFlurries before you step on stage, right?
Coach, can I have
eat whatever you want.
Apple
whatever
pies.
you want, man.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next here?
This gentleman is very keen to have this question answered. Sammy G, thoughts on daily microdosing anastrozole to keep E2 in range.
What?
Thinking of doing 0.125 milligrams a day instead of 0.5 milligrams twice a week. I just want to reiterate that Sammy was very keen to have this question
Can I
read and answered on stream.
There is no data to support technically even 0.5 Arimidex. I know doctors will have guys cut them. The studies are on 1 milligram. That's the dose. And again, we talked about this, I think, last week. When pharmaceutical drugs are made, they're made in the effective dose generally because they don't want people cutting things or measuring. So 0.125 is probably not going to do anything. It's like mouse turd at that point. I don't think it's doing anything. I would use, and the other thing that seems so common now too is that everyone wants to play pharmacokinetics games with all the drugs, right? It's like, it's got an ester, but I'm going to use it this way. Or I'm going to split this up this way. Like their design, it has a 2-day half-life. Use it that way.
Yeah, was it like 30 some hours, I think.
Yeah, and food, the only thing that food will affect when it reaches peak serum between 2 hours on empty stomach and 6 hours on a full stomach. But outside of that, I would dose it every other day. You know, or you could probably get away twice a week at a milligram, but cutting it down to these small little doses doesn't make any sense. Just use it the proper way.
Okay.
All right, what do we got next?
Jason, is it worth to use GH and insulin if you're using less than a gram of anabolics?
With your food quantity.
Increase your food quantity. That's excellent advice. Increase your McDoubles intake.
If you're eating less than 1,000 grams of carbs, I highly doubt you need insulin.
Probably not.
And if you do, you got to lose weight. A lot of the guys that are bigger, they use insulin. Once you actually diet them down, they don't need insulin anymore to go hypo.
That happens to me.
Insulin shouldn't be a trend. We got to get rid of insulin.
I like my insulin, Kurt. You're hurting my feelings.
You have insulin insufficiency, pancreatic insufficiency. It's different.
It's hurt my feelings.
No, I just think people need to hear that because you get a pump from it. It would kill me. So insulin's not a joke.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen cornrow. I haven't seen the rose on a white dude since the 90s, I think, since like, I don't know, around the time the first Fast and Furious movie came out, like the turn of the, of the century. Benju, I have a question. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
What's up,
guys?
Welcome.
What's going on?
Welcome.
Benji, we'll get to your question in a minute. Things just got interesting.
So good to see you.
How you doing, man?
It's good to see you, Nick.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, no, it's been awesome to finally make it. The time zone difference, obviously, in Australia makes it really damn hard since I got back.
What time
Is
is
it
it
like
now?
3 in the morning?
What day is it there?
Yeah, about 10 past 3. I woke up and I woke up to go to the toilet and I was like looking at the time and I checked YouTube. I was like, shit, still live. I've got to jump on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you, man.
Hey.
I'm honored.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, so what did I miss?
We're just answering questions.
Paul is a pro.
I know, I saw that. Yeah, congrats, Paul. I know I said
Thank you.
congratulations in the group chat, but I just wanted to say, yeah, congratulations. And
So
yeah,
Nick, my
yeah.
assistant, watches the streams, and she's missed you because she and I will try and decide what we think like the Aussie name or version of an animal would be. So we talk about that often. Yep. So she will be glad to see you're back.
Oh,
What was
awesome.
what was the one?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
bin chickens.
Bin chicken. That was it.
What was
Bin chicken.
the
I love
peacock.
the
What was
bin
the
chicken.
yeah, bin chicken. Yeah, we joke about it all the time.
I love bin
Bin
chicken.
chicken.
Oh, geez. Yeah, bin chicken. What is it? I think they're called ibises. The bird, like they're called an ibis, but there's just like but it's been going around for so long. Bin chicken, like there's like a YouTube video. I think a YouTube video started the trend of calling them bin chickens. It was probably about 10 years ago, I think. I'll have to find the video. I'll find the original video. I'll send it in the group chat. But yeah, it's hilarious.
The inception of the bin chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
The origin story. Bin chicken. Origin story.
Origin story.
Oh, man.
I just know redneck
Yeah,
slang.
I just realized I look half asleep.
Nope.
You are.
You
It's
seriously-
okay, man.
It's 3 a.m. You have helped my prep. I actually just finished off a container of the honey Dijon mustard last night. It is fantastic on okra. Oh,
It's-
so delicious.
Yeah, honey
Yes.
Dijon's a winner.
Oh,
It's like
so
the
good.
perfect kind of like balance between sweet and salty.
Yes.
Yeah, I was using that on my prep too.
So good.
Yeah.
I mix it with like a little bit of horseradish for a little bit of kick, and like, oh, it's delicious.
Pickled okra, Amy?
Yeah.
So I do
Ooh.
both. So I the pickled. I love okra. I get the jars of pickled okra, but I get the frozen. I just buy the bags of frozen okra, and like it's so when you mix it in with anything, like it gives that like slimy texture to everything you're eating in the best possible way. These are prep thoughts.
I was
right
worried
here.
for a minute. I was like, oh man, I think she lost a bunch of people. I'm calling it slimy, but then you're like in the best possible way. I'm like, I'm right back on board.
Because it like it makes it like viscous and like it gives it like texture that's good.
Your word choice is just really painting the picture.
Really selling okra.
That's how you know you're on prep. I like buy all this shit that I eat when I'm on prep, and then it sits in my refrigerator after I get done, and I never touch it again.
Yeah.
And
You do get
many
in like these
times-
weird things in prep where like food that doesn't normally taste good is just like the best thing ever. That's okra for
Yeah.
me on this prep. I've eaten so much okra.
weird combinations.
Yeah.
Well, you
Then
know
you
things
say
are
okra with
real.
honey mustard.
You'll be in prep. You'll be like neck deep in prep, and you'll be like, "This combination is so good." When I'm out of prep, I'm going to be eating this every week. And you just look at it in disgust when you're out of prep. I'm not eating this.
Like never again.
Well, you know
Or
things
that
are
moment. Go ahead, Paul.
you know things are getting real when you start putting the GHU sauces in your in your cart. That stuff is the worst.
Oh, I had the
bad.
moment where I look at my blender blade and think, could I lick this? Like there's protein shake on there that I don't want to waste. And then I'm always like, don't do it. Like those are sharp. But oh, it's tempting.
Live dangerously, Amy. Live dangerously.
Dangerous.
Oh, I'll look around the edge, but like the actual blades, I'm like, don't do it.
Licking the blender blade.
Like
Oh man.
that's someone's fetish.
Like that's how good the protein shake is.
Someone's making good money on OnlyFans licking blender blades. Shane wants to know if Bogan is the Aussie version of a redneck, Nick. I know you and I have discussed this.
100%.
A bogan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bogan,
And I'd kind of be considered a bit of a bogan because I grew up in like a country town, and we'd just go like everywhere pretty much barefoot if we didn't have to wear shoes. Yeah.
I'm learning Aussie.
Jackie asked if I was getting my IFBB belt. She got hers. I just can't bring myself to do it. I feel like a dick wearing a belt that says IFBB Pro. I did get the patch for my gym bag. That's bad enough.
Get something.
I didn't change
Maybe
my
it's something to
Instagram name to
distinguish
IFBB
yourself,
Pro
so.
Paul either.
Yeah.
I told you, you got it. I feel like you should get a belt that says IFBB Pro and then has a little asterisk next to it for all the all the people who are giving you hate about it being a Masters Pro card.
Get a winter jacket and then wear it in the summer.
Yeah, that's right.
I can put on there courtesy of photo filters. All right, we want to grab the next question.
Should we answer the kid's question about water from high carb?
Oh yeah. What was that one?
It's usually 2 days, right? Most guys look the best 2 days, maybe 3 after.
It's 2 days post my high days when I look the best.
I think people get really confused about high days too. Glycogen takes 36 hours to fully form, so like you don't have to time your high day with leg day because you're not getting the glycogen replacement that day. Like you can really do them any point. And there's really no calorie burn difference between legs and. Unless you're just training biceps, there's not much difference between any of the training days in trained individuals. I think guys way over plan what food is doing for them. You're getting like your liver full fast, so you feel better, but you're not. That's not muscle glycogen.
Yeah, I think it's more important to just like understand the frequency of high days you have throughout the week and like make sure that you kind of strategically spacing them apart from each other if you're wanting the effect of like obviously filling up and then depleting and then filling up again.
For my guys that are strength athletes, I'll usually plan them 2 days out from when they're from when they're they have their meet or a day and a half before.
Yeah, I think a big mistake too with carb cycling is even when you're growing, you have to be in a deficit some of the days. Otherwise, there's no super compensation. Your body's not just going to magically store more glycogen than baseline if it doesn't get depleted. So if you're like bulking and your low day is still maintenance or above, there's no point in having a high day. It's just making you fat. That's all it's doing is making you fat.
Yeah, you want your rest day to be a deficit.
Yeah.
I actually went even further this past off season. I was, this wasn't Justin's advice, so I'm sure he'd probably cringe if I said this, but I was doing intermittent fasting on my one of my low days where I'd only eat one meal. I'd have a 24-hour fast. Mainly, I was just doing it for my GI because of the IBS, just to give my gut a break, but I felt like it really worked well.
See, I think the good thing too is it helps you deplete some of the liver glycogen too.
Yep.
Like especially if you're able to do like a full 24-hour, like it's not going to deplete it completely. Like you need to probably fast for a few days to get some sort of like, I suppose, a noticeable depletion of liver glycogen, right? Would you say about that, Kurt? Like a few days of full fasting?
Probably.
Like liver glycogen. Yeah. So
your mic is pretty low, by the way, Nick.
Talk into your mic a little more. Yeah.
I'll just try to turn it up. I'm just trying to speak a bit softer because it's so early over here.
Yeah.
Don't want to wake everybody up. But I usually.
Yeah, it's good.
Better. Yeah, I'll usually like sometimes like a lot of my guys I'll have them do zero. It just depends. Like my guys that are heavier, I'll have them do 0 carbs on their low day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, people are like more prone to kind of fat gain. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely useful, like calorie cycling. But yeah, like Kurt was saying, people get too caught up in the weeds with like the nuance of it. It's like there is some nuance, but it's a bit simpler than people think.
I think people are just so concerned that they're going to do something the wrong way, and then it either won't work or it won't be optimal. And so they're always looking for the right way to do something, when instead of just like just get like fucking 80%, 90% of the way there, no matter how you do it.
Yeah. And guys get obsessed with the number too. Like they'll give a guy a macros that needs to lose a bunch of weight and they'll add the calories up and like, why am I eating 1,700 calories?
Yeah.
You're overweight. You got to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like they think that like they need 40,000 calories. I mean, 4,000 calories is how got you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh, I was told you never go below 1,800 calories." And like who?
I don't even put calories on my fucking diets just so people don't see.
No, that's what, but guys will add the macros though. If I give macros, like, how come it's my maintenance is 2,400 and you have me at 19? How do you know your maintenance is 2,400? You're fat. That's not your maintenance. Yeah. Maintaining your fatness.
I want to.
You can quote me on that. That could be a quote.
I want to go to the Kurt Havens school of bedside table manner.
The one that he said, my What do you say? My testicles are just ornaments at this point.
I mean, guys, like, but they'll shrink. Like, what are they doing? No woman ever said, "I love a man with gigantic goat balls."
Oh shit! Okay,
I'm sure Kurt gets these guys too, man. I get them all the fucking time too. The dudes that are obsessed with the size of their balls, they're worried about their balls shrinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, nobody cares, man.
Yeah.
If you got big biceps and a nice chest, nobody's caring about the size of your balls.
And I get it all the time in my TRT clinic. Like guys are like overly obsessed with it. I'm like, what girl is going around going, "Oh, did you see that guy's balls?"
Yeah. And it also makes the ratio unfavorable. Like all of a sudden it makes the actual important part look smaller if it's too oversized. Like,
the eggplant
is
looking smaller compared to
the weakest, most vulnerable part of my genitalia that hangs outside of my body. Yeah, no thanks. I'm purposefully shrinking them, actually. I'm going to be impervious. I'm going to be like those Shaolin masters who get kicked in the junk just to prove a point.
That's the first thing that came to mind, the Shaolin monk video from YouTube where they're just like kicking.
That's why I'm glad to have you back, Nick, because it's nice to have somebody else on the panel for whose mind goes straight to the Shaolin monk getting kicked in the junk. All right.
Paul, those same guys are the ones that are running like 140 tests, but 5,000 HCG.
All right, I gotta go.
200 milligrams of DHEA.
Smaller hitbox.
That's right. Just like in like a video game, like you make the character real small.
That's a man who plays video games.
You make them as small and thin as possible. Smaller.
That was a good
That's
one,
right.
Shade.
But Existence has this question for Amy. I just want to let you know, I had it both times you had asked it previously. We just hadn't gotten to it yet because we've been getting a lot of questions today. That being said, you decided to pay £5 for it, so we're gonna skip it to the top of the line. If anybody else wants to do that, you're welcome to. Certainly don't have to. We try to get to everybody, but sometimes there's a lot of questions like today. Question for Amy: what's your opinion on? I'm sorry, how do I pronounce this? HIFU for mild skin tightening and mild fat loss in flanks/lower back. Friend of mine highly suggested it.
So here's the thing, and I tell this to all of our patients: there is no amount of technology that will pull skin or remove fat. So if what you truly have is fat that needs to be removed, don't mess around and waste your money on an external treatment when you could just have liposuction and we throw that trash in the fat and it's gone forever. You're going to get a far more powerful skin tightening effect with an internal radiofrequency skin tightening or even like Vaser than you will with any external device. Now, HIFU is ultrasound, or some people respond really well to like external ultrasound in small areas. So the only areas I'd recommend that for is like an area maybe on the face, the brow, like a little bit of maintenance when you already have managed the other factors, and you're never going to pull skin with technology, even with internal technology. So the best you can hope for with a technology is that you're increasing collagen. So all of these things like increase heat, right? So they're making heat, you're getting collagen production. The tightening effect that you're getting from any of these technologies is in the ability of them to kind of thicken up and bring that tissue in slightly closer, so you're going to get a far better tightening effect if what you have is a space this big and you go in with radio frequency technology and take all the fat out and put heat in, because then it actually has to remodel to a smaller size versus something external that's just trying to get it to kind of contract a little because there's still that volume underneath. It really, I mean, if you're completely averse to doing anything internal or have some reason why you can't, maybe then start with something that's external only. But you're always going to get a better result by just going to a competent surgeon and having real body contouring in these areas and getting rid of the fat that's there. And then if you still need some additional skin tightening, maybe trying something external. But I wouldn't go there first.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying my lower back is doomed?
No, I'm saying, I mean, like we talked about that a couple weeks ago, like just get the lipo, like get it sucked out, get some, get as much as you can with technology and removing the fat. And then if there's like a little bit there, I mean, there are some great things like Ultherapy that can, even Morpheus, that can kind of slightly tighten skin. I hate to say tighten because it's really not. There that can help contract skin slightly. Like for women, like maybe on the back of the thighs or something, there are some technologies that'll kind of produce a really transient effect there to kind of give some boost or some tightening appearance that's very transient, meaning it won't last forever, but could give you a little boost. But if you got an area like the flanks, just lipo them.
Jump to the front of the line here, but if you had like hypothetically some skin like in like the lower testicle region that was loose, would there be
like a
some sort of
tuck?
like something technology like a scrotal tuck, like just like there's a friend of mine who's like got a slight concern about that, so you're telling me that there is hope. Telling him that
the guy that
there is hope.
That's great. Right. That's great news for him.
Yeah. The guy whose balls are like hitting the water of the toilet when he sits down, we'll pull those right back up.
Share that news with him.
Everyone
remember the skit in Jackass where Johnny Knoxville's got the fake nuts on, and he's the old dude who's like sitting in the cafe. I just thought of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
They're hanging out. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god. Yeah, the grandpa.
I forgot about that one.
Oh shit.
All right, let's get one or two more in.
All right. Let's see. God, there's so many questions today. All right, I got to do Benju's. I brought it up earlier. I made a comment on his hair, and then I didn't even answer his question. I'm sorry, Benju. Benju has a question regarding refeeds or high days. How long should it take for the body to drop down and weight again and drop the water off?
2 days.
2 days. Yeah, 2 days is what I see. Some people drop immediately, like the day after, but that's
usually when your metabolism's cooking.
Yeah,
usually
exactly, like
2 days you will be back at your, like what I've seen is like whatever you weighed the morning of your high day, you'll be back there usually 2 days after.
Yeah. I know when a guy's metabolism is working in prep, when I refeed him and his weight drops the next day.
Yeah.
I need to refeed him again generally to slow it down. But that's when things are working. If their weight's going up after unless it's salt,
Yeah, but that's why you gotta like stress to people, keep your food choices consistent. Like, because if you're going out to like, I don't know, like in
Chinese
and out,
restaurant.
like and just having like a mega sodium, like in comparison to what you normally consume, like you're gonna throw aldosterone off so much.
Yeah, well, that's when guys are like, well, salt dries you out. Like, have you been to a Chinese restaurant before? No,
not with water.
God, I had a guy.
Carbs.
Yeah.
A guy told me that he was all soggy at his show, and he's like, I ate a bunch of salt the day of. I salted everything, and I can't figure out why I was all I'm like, oh my God, man. No.
The salt is to bring the blood pressure up acutely. That's it. You just need a little bit.
Yeah.
You need when you use diuretics because it drops.
Yeah.
It's not salt in yourself. And judges don't care about veins. Don't worry about what your veins are like. That's your blood pressure.
Yeah, potassium is what ultimately, the electrolyte ultimately drives water.
I
and
am
muscle.
usually veiny as fuck, but I had no veins the day of my show. I think it looked all right. Very few.
Yeah.
Well, and it clearly didn't hurt your placing.
No.
That's the thing. People associate veins with like conditioning. It's like they're not the same thing. Like you can be full as a house and have a lot of vascularity in your off season, but like when you're on stage, like if you have a lot of veins, you probably have striations being hidden. Like you probably have actual kind of like separation that you want to be shown.
That's a very good point.
Hidden, yeah.
And I'm veiny when I'm fat too.
Yeah.
Like flat equals full or jacked, I should say, in terms of like a contest prep setting. Yeah.
Well, Justin says it all the time. There's what looks good in the gym, and then there's what looks good on stage. They're two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And everyone's like 2 days post show, like, oh, it looks so much better. Like, why didn't I look like this on stage? Because you're not under stage lighting. You're in completely different conditions. Like, it wouldn't look the same as you think you look. Like, especially first time competitors, they think they look phenomenal like a day or two post show. And I just say to them, all right, go up on stage and turn the lights on. Ask them to turn the lights on.
Yeah, you're not going to look the same. Yeah. All right, guys. I need to wrap this up. I'm losing my voice. I need to eat. Time to go get some food in this belly. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being on.
We'll sorry we couldn't get to all the questions today, guys. I appreciate all the questions. So we'll try to get to them next week if you show up again next week, okay?
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
take care.
Guys.
Adios.